Hi friends, welcome to my channel RK Raising Kids Vlog. Today we're gonna know about weather and climate. So now let's begin. Weather. So what is weather? What do you mean by the word weather? Weather is the state of the atmosphere at a given time and place over a short period of time. Okay, it means atmosphere around the earth and it's given at the given time and a place. It tells us day-to-day temperature. Temperature means every day. Means weather tells us that today is 31 degrees. Well, tomorrow it's gonna be 45 degrees. So it tells us the day-to-day temperature. And precipitation means rainfall or snowfall conditions, and it can change at any moment of time. Now, right now I've said that today is 31 degrees. Well, tomorrow it will be 45 degrees. Like this, it can change at any moment of time. Okay, so for example, right now it's really hot and you're sweating, and but suddenly the dark clouds cover the sun and some small raindrops fall on your body and it starts to rain. So see, it can change at any moment of time. Now, components of weather are wind, precipitation, temperature, sunshine, and clouds, snow, and humidity. Components as elements of weather. Okay, next we'll know about weather forecast. Weather forecast means this weather forecast tells about all the information of weather. So weather forecast means a statement about what is likely to happen based on available information relating to weather. For example, today will be a hot day, but it will rain in the afternoon. 16 degree. Okay. So this is known as the weather forecast. Another I want to tell you about the weather forecast means if anyone asks just forecast instead of naming it, you have to say that it's a statement what is gonna happen based on the information relating to something like business and weather. Okay, there are many kinds of forecast. Next we'll know about the climate. It is the average weather condition or a long-term pattern of the weather in a region. It refers to different seasons like winter, summer, spring, autumn, and rainy seasons, etc. So means if for example a whole week is totally hot, not a single drop of rainfall, so this is known as the climate. The climate is hot. Climate change affects our health as it impacts upon the ecosystem. Now how? If we keep means because of the deforestation, the climate starts to change as it impacts upon the ecosystem. So as there would be drought then if there is no trees, dying of trees, and there would be loss of water for us. That would affect our health if there is no water. We can't live without water, right? It quenches our thirst. So like this, climate change can affect our health. Another, the essential difference between weather and climate is the measure of time. Just like I said when I explained what is climate. Okay, so remember this, my friends. Next, we'll know about the factors affecting the climate. When we move from one place to another, we come across different types of climate. Factors that affect the climate of a place are as follows. Stay with me, friends. These are really important. The 5 factors affecting climate. So, first, distance from the sea, latitude, altitude, ocean currents, direction of winds. Okay, so remember this. Now we'll know about the distance from the sea. Cities which are present near the coastal area never experience really hot or very cold climate conditions. For example, Mumbai, Chennai, Visakhapatnam, etc. in India, and Arapiraca, Aracaju, or Rio de Janeiro in Brazil. And now what more examples? Wilmington and Charleston, Jacksonville in United States of America. So these experience just a moderate temperature because they lie on the coastal area. Okay, so another, the distance from the sea. It is mainly due to the sea breeze and the land breeze. Let me explain them. So here, sea breeze, during the day, the sea is cooler while the land is warmer. Because during the day, the sea cools down the land by pushing the cool air towards the land, and while the land, which is really hot, pushes the warm air towards the sea so that they could get a moderate temperature. And when they mix together, we get a moderate temperature, right? Cold plus hot is equals to moderate, a normal temperature. Okay, so during the day the sea is cooler while the land is warmer. But when it comes to night, as the sea becomes warmer because the land pushes the warm air towards the sea, and the land is cooler because as the sea pushes the cooler, again reverse will come. Again the land pushes cooler so that the sea would get a moderate temperature, and the sea would push warm air so that the land would also get a moderate temperature. So when they mix again, we would get a moderate or a normal temperature. So this is due to the sea breeze and land breeze. So the presence of sea breeze and land breeze never lets the temperature to reach extremes completely high. No. Okay. Next we'll know about the latitude. Okay, the latitude of a place tells us the distance of the place from the equator. The equator receives more sunlight than anywhere else on the earth. So the hot condition gradually decreases as we go far away from the equator. So, countries like Indonesia, they like correctly on the equator, so they receive a really hot temperature. I think you have known about the rotation of the earth and how the day and night causes, right? Whichever way the earth is tilted, the equator receives the same amount of temperature. It's going to be really hot because as the sunlight rays falls directly on the equator, so it receives more sunlight and more hot temperature. So countries like Indonesia really receive a hot temperature. And another, I want to tell you this interesting fact that the countries Indonesia, they get a 12-hour day, and means from midnight 12 o'clock the sun would be bright, the day would be complete bright, but when it gets to 12 o'clock afternoon, it gets complete dark. Okay, so this is one interesting fact. Okay, so the hot condition gradually decreases as we go far away from the equator. Next we'll know about the altitude. The altitude is the height of a place above the sea level. It has a major impact on the climate of a place. As we go higher above the sea level, it becomes cooler. So, okay, let's take some examples. We know that Darjeeling is cooler than Siliguri and Mussoorie is cooler than Dehradun. This is because both Darjeeling and Mussoorie are situated at higher altitude than Siliguri and Dehradun, respectively. So, because Darjeeling and the Mussoorie are a little larger than the other two mountains. I mean these mountains are located in North India. Okay, so these because they're above the sea level, and when we go higher, we can feel the clouds around us. And as you know, clouds are supposed to be cold because as whenever it rains or snows, it would be cold. Okay, so the clouds are also said to be cold, and when we feel it around us, we get a cooler climate. So this is another reason of the altitude. Okay. Next is ocean currents. It is of two types. They are warm and cold. Warm ocean current increases the temperature of the coastal areas. Means if the coastal area is cold, then the warm ocean currents increase the temperature to moderate, while the cold ocean currents decreases the temperature of the coastal areas. If they are hot, it decreases back to moderate. So the presence of these ocean currents does not allow the temperature of the coastal region to reach extremes completely high. No. Okay. Alright, who went to the beach? Okay, I cannot hear you in this video. Then just quickly write them in the comments the name of the beach and how did you felt when you were at the beach. I went to the RK beach in Visakhapatnam and I just felt moderate temperature, even though if it's day or night. The only difference is that during the day the land was hot while the sea was cold, but during the night the land was cool while the sea was hot. This is due to the land breeze and the sea breeze, just like I explained in the middle of the chapter. Alright, next let's go to the direction of the wind. The temperature and humidity of a place is affected by the winds blowing through it. Okay? Examples like coastal areas, they're often humid due to the moisture-laden winds blowing from the sea, while desert areas are often very hot due to the dry winds blowing through it. Here, the coastal areas means, as I think I told you about the land breeze and the sea breeze, they usually get a moderate temperature, so they doesn't get so extreme, very hot or very cold. But desert areas are very hot because of the dry winds. How they are dry winds? Let me tell you that. The sunlight, when they fall on the winds blowing towards desert areas, I think you heard about deserts which are really hot. So the winds start to become dry and hot because of the sunlight rays that's falling on it. But if there are trees, are there any trees in the desert areas? No, but if there are trees, then the winds don't have to become very dry because the trees would have covered it and protected from the sunlight rays. But there's no trees in desert areas, just except for the cactus plants and the date palm trees. Okay, so the wind started to become dry, and when it blow over the desert areas also become very hot. So this is the factor which is affecting the climate. Next, let's recap. Now, what is weather? The day-to-day temperature and precipitation conditions. And who tells about the weather temperature? The weather forecast. And climate means it refers to seasons. And the factors affecting climate are distance from the sea, latitude, altitude, ocean currents, and direction of winds. Okay, thanks for watching this video, and want to see and learn more, then just go to my channel RK Rising Kids Vlog and check out some